Welcome to the Big Four. I'm joined by Najee Fox and Winston Williams. So today we're going to talk about Najee's journey as an athlete, as a model, and all the various different charity works that he's getting involved in. So Najee, tell us what's your journey been like up until this point?
Hi, well, first of all, kind of say thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to connect with new faces and similar faces. So shout out to you guys for having me on. Yes, my name is Najee. I am a model, big and tall, I'd say, as we call it, or broad model. Also a discus thrower as well. And I'm just looking to, I suppose, have this conversation about my journey so far. So, yeah, I started athletics when I was really young. My dad was an athlete. Started out sprinting at the age of 30, and then went into bobsleigh, and then through that went into athletics again, but in the throwing. And that's where my love kind of picked up for it. So we'll touch on that later, I suppose, in more content. And then skip a few years or a hell of a lot of years. I ended up being a big and tall model about a year and a half ago. So those are my two I'd say stories that will come to light in this program. But at the same time, I also have another job where I'm a youth worker and a youth mentor and youth support worker, all through Mixed and One. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, and I can't wait to get started. So thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. All right, so let's start.
Welcome to.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Winston.
So let's start with what you mentioned that your dad has been a big influence in your life and got you into athletics. What made you pick the discus overall, or did you start with a general thing, or did you just go straight into the throws, just fell in love with it?
Well, it's quite a funny story actually how I actually got into it. It's quite comical, but originally I was always very athletic, very sporty. I did every sport you could think of. Football was my biggest passion, and my dad asked me what I wanted to be one time in the car, I remember, and I don't know if he'll regret this, but I remember him saying to me, he says, "Oh, you'll be too big to play football." And back then, I wasn't your physical specimen for football, let's say, but I was very talented, as we all like to say. So that kind of hurt me a little bit, I remember, but that was in the car. I was quite young then. I still played football, of course, but it would have been on a Tuesday night when I had keyboard lessons, and my dad was training one day, and he'd pick me up, and then he'd go down to the track. And we went down to the track with Northwood Stadium, just in Stoke-on-Trent. And I used to, I loved it. I loved going down to the track because you'd see all these athletes. It was jam-packed, it was rammed, and the big lights were there flashing at night time, and you're thinking, well, what is this place? And skip a few minutes forward, there was a high jump bed right next to the discus cage. And as my dad was training, me being an only child, was making his own games up. I was a big wrestling fan, and I proceeded to play wrestling on myself on the high jump bed, pretending that I was The Rock. So
as you do,
The Rock was my childhood hero, literally inspiration growing up. It was more than just a fan of him. Like, I admired him, I adored him, still do now to this day. So, but yeah, back to the story. Sorry, that was happening. I was playing wrestling on the bed, and my dad's friend, who was a decathlete at the time, called Pa. He lives in Canada now, I believe. He came around. I remember he come off the bend, and he come up to me and said, "Oh, come on, Najee, let's fight. I'll play with you, And here's me, thinking, okay, it's on, let's do it, But I took it like I was about 7 years old, 7 years old. I took it so serious, proper. So I jumped off the bed. You come up to me as if he's gonna grapple me. And I kicked him in his stomach and did the best DDT of my life. I kid you not. So I've dropped him now. I've dropped him on his head. And I remember standing up feeling like I literally felt like I just won the championship bout, And as I'm looking at him, I look up and I'm looking around, and then there's just about 50, 60 faces staring at me. And I'm looking around. As I turn my head, obviously you're going to look at your dad, aren't you, to see if he's looking. I'm looking, and he's giving me the dad look. Now, I know every dad's got the dad look, you know what I mean? That straight face. Like, you look into his eyes, you know you messed up. So that that was a life lesson that I remember having. I went over to him. He's like, "Get over here now."
Yeah.
So I went over to him, and with respect to my dad, he explained quite well that he put it in a nice way, in like an educational way, and he said like, you know, why are you playing wrestling, for example? And he says, "Are you a wrestler?" And I was like, "Well, no, not really." And I said, "But he wanted to wrestle me." And I said, "Yeah, but is he a wrestler?" And he says, "No." He says, "Is there a ring there? Is there ropes?" He says, "No." He says, "So why are you doing wrestling on an athletics track? It doesn't make sense, you know." So he kind of educated me a little bit to, rather than just have a go at me. I could see he was vexed, and I felt
Yeah.
shame already. But he then just turned and said, "Why don't you come have a go with this instead?" Just to,
Yeah.
you know, keep me from messing around. And that was the first time I picked up a disc. I wasn't very good. It was a 0.75 kilogram, which is like baby weight.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember standing in the circle feeling, oh God, you know, something new. I'm excited. Let me try it.
Yeah.
And I remember throwing it, and you know how some discus circles, you have the discus circle and the hammer circle in front.
Mhm. Yeah.
I barely even made the edge of the hammer circle. So I remember doing a standing throw, and I was just like, But
Yeah.
yeah, that was literally what planted the seed for me. You know, became from the rock, then to wrestling on a match, to getting in
Yeah.
trouble, to starting discus, and ever since then, it's always been a part of my life.
That's incredible. That's a great journey. So didn't you ever think to try combat sports as well, seeing as you're seemed quite a natural at it, or was that not something?
Well, I did a lot of sports, but as I got older, my dad said if you want to take one seriously,
Mm,
because I was doing really well nationally, um, in many sports at that time, even
mm,
especially in school as well. So my dad said if you're going to take one seriously, you're going to have to just pick one and try and stick with it and focus on it if you want to be good at one, because my mum and dad didn't have a lot of money at all. So it was quite hard to fund my school trips, fund my athletics clothing. I was always growing as well,
mm,
as any parent would know. You know, the child starts to grow. So I really had to make a decision. And obviously athletics prevailed. I still did my school sports and stuff.
mm,
So I was in a lot of school teams, but as I left school, obviously athletics was my main focus. And at that time, I remember doing really, really well nationally in athletics. So it kind of all just fell into place to do athletics really, because I was really, really high up at the time. I think I was number one under 13 in the UK at the time. And then under 15, I only had one season because obviously I got injured when I was run over. So that's another bit we
gosh.
can dabble into. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty much what cemented sport for me. So athletics was the main focus.
And outside of that, what do you feel like it's given you? Is it giving you a sense of discipline and all sorts of things like that, or is it, what
Oh
else?
yeah, massively. Sorry, yeah. We carry
Yeah.
on. Sorry, I cut you up.
No, yeah, it's like, what else would have taken that place if athletics didn't fall into your life? What do you feel um, would have been in there?
Well, it's quite difficult for me to say actually, because obviously as good as my athletics was going, my mum and dad, they split up when I was 2 years old. So
Mhm.
I had two very, very different lifestyles. With my mum was quite more poverty and kind of a really rough upbringing.
Mm.
So it wasn't really great. Whereas with my dad, I only saw him on Fridays and weekends in my younger years, but he kind of the one who gave me the other opportunity in life, where I was going out and I was exploring the world and seeing the differences in my surroundings. So without my sport, I will be honest, I don't really feel I'd be in this position, because through my sport, I've gained a lot of tools for life, and I've only learned them through sports, and that's coming with trials and tribulations. Not just about the medal aspects and glory, but the mindset to apply yourself, the mindset to do better, the mindset to just achieve no matter what, the mindset to know that if you've come third, it's still a great achievement, depending on the position you're in your life. And it's not, there's little holes and loopholes in life where you can win at, and all those small loopholes that you do win at lead up to the massive one. So I've learned so much through sport, and it's brought me so much joy. And it's brought me a social network with people outside of my environment that was always around. I was always in Stoke-on-Trent. which is predominantly at that time as well, very well known to be a racist area. I was the only mixed race kid in that area too, so I wasn't around great influences in that respect. You know, it was literally a tale of two halves. It was one extreme with my dad, one extreme with my mom. You know, so it gave me a balance. It gave me an understanding to be streetwise. I was very streetwise, very locked on, very smart, very witty. You know, survived in the rawest of positions. But at the same time, with my dad, I had an opportunity to see what I could achieve if I stuck at my goals. And you know, it was a beautiful balance. It wasn't nice with the experiences. Well, it wasn't all nice, sorry, with the experiences as I reflect, but it definitely shaped and balanced me, as I'm sure many people will know if they've been through trials and tribulations. You know, they don't regret them once they see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. You mentioned some of the tools there. Like, what would you say you'd sort of fall back on in terms of when you feel like, you know, because everyone has the moments where you can be as positive as you like, but sometimes it does get to you. Sometimes when things aren't quite working out the way they want to, and when you recognize that sort of feeling of despair or any sort of feeling down sort of comes over you, what kind of tools do you use? Sort of methods that you use or books that you've read or anything like that to sort of keep you at a sort of stable level, or do you look to something completely away from sport just to balance you out?
It's quite a mixture of both, really. I mean, if I go back to, let's say, if I go back to my teens and early 20s, back then, my motivation was strongly my mom. At the time, when I started sport, obviously it was through enjoyment and through my passion for sport and doing really well. And then I was run over by a double decker, I think, when I was 14. So I missed my first year of competition that season, and that was a really testing time for me because I was maturing into a young man and understanding my mom's situation even more as I got older. But at the same time, I was so close to losing my leg. I had 9 operations every 48 hours, and it's quite weird actually. It's quite well. The timing of it all was quite relevant to having the inspiration that I do have and carried in, because my mum was meant to see me at a certain time in the hospital. It was around Christmas time too, and these are my mum's words. I was on the bed at this time, and she came late, and she said my dad was crying, which very, very rare sight to see. You know, I've only ever seen him cry once when his mum, my grandma, passed away, bless her. So, you know, I knew it was quite serious, and my mum came in and was effing and blinding, saying, you know, what the F is going on here? What's going on? What's going on? And then doctor said to my mom that they're gonna have to amputate my leg. So they said they needed a machine to fit on my leg to remove all the infection and pus out the muscle tissue. Just what happened when I got run over, the doctor originally said it would just go black and blue, and I was very, very lucky. But I had 2 scratch marks, which ended up being deep punctures in the leg, and that caused the infection. So 2 weeks later, when I was back at school on my crutches, I got it knocked, and then it started the infection within 3 hours. I was going from walking downstairs to not even able to walk at all. Then I was at home. And then it was quite gruesome, the bit of the story in terms of the pus and stuff. But anyway, I ended up being in the hospital, and as I said, they needed this machine to suck all the pus out. And apparently it was in London, and they only had one. So my mom, to continue the story, she being her, you know, a mother, she was like, I've just walked past the helicopter, get some, I'm not going to swear, but she said, get some doctor in that helicopter. My son's not having his leg off. If the machine's there, go and get it. I'm not having it. And lo and behold, they did.
There you
so they got it. And the next 24 hours after that, or 48 hours, I had my first operation. And then I had 9 operations every 48 hours after that. And then, it was a case of learning to walk again. And I think, knowing my position in terms of what had happened at home and what was going on and my sport and stuff, I kind of had a new motivation, a deeper rooted motivation to achieve. You know, and the year after I came back to my first English school, so we had to wear the green and gold. If you remember the lycras.
Yeah.
Shout out to Staffordshire, by the way. But
Good,
I had to wear
yeah.
the green and gold lycras, and I managed to get a silver medal. And I was so ecstatic. So I only had the one season under 15. So I've gone from learning to walk again to winning at the English schools, which at that age, as you know, Gavin, is massive. You know, English schools is big for any young athlete. And that was one of my most memorable achievements to date. And I think from there, as I lived my life with my mum, things were quite seriously damaged and stuff. And I then started to see my mum's health deteriorate and her living conditions, and then I ended up being taking up a caring role for her. And she was an alcoholic, and she was in a state of mind where she had a little bit of dementia as she got a little bit older, which was quite difficult. But at the times when she was a little bit younger, my mum was so proud of me doing my sport that I wanted to give her a better life, you know, just to give her an opportunity. So in my sport, kind of my motivation became about that, really. And for the last 10, 12, 13 years, I'd say that was the motivation, you know. That was it. That was just go, you know. And that, through the struggles of just, I suppose when we moved to a place called Sanford Hill, and I was around 17, 18, maybe 19, I'd say. And I had to get a job at Aldi at the time to support my mum. And I was up, so I'd have almost with me, and I'd cycle from my house. And if you know Stoke-on-Trent, it's so hilly, it's up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
So I kind of I don't know if you remember Pokemon when he used to ride his bike and he's going all the way through dead fast. But that's how far like I was when I was on my bike. But yeah, I'd cycle to Aldi. I'd do a shift, and then I'd cycle to college. I'd always miss 3 lessons because of work, which I really got pulled up on. I got told off. And then I'd cycle from college to go to Northwood Stadium. I would train till like 10 at night until the lights went off. And then I'd cycle back home, and the traveling was just, it was crazy. You know, that was my only means of travel, you know, and it was difficult because after about 2 months, I just burnt my whole body out and I couldn't do it. And I was getting up late, and then I was having to look after my mom, and it was really, really difficult to have a balanced lifestyle where I was able to do my sport. But my motivation was just make sure mum's got food at home, make sure, you know, like she sees me do well, make sure she sees that, because the only positive thing she ever told me was that I was her positive light, you know, that was it. She had nothing else other than me. And she told me like she wanted to take her own life many a times, and she tried but struggled just because of me, you know. So I felt massive pride but pressure to make sure that she made the right decision, you know, that she chose the right option. So I had this image in my head where I just thought, if she sees me compete at international level, you know, then she'd seen her son make his dreams happen, you know. And that was the image that drove me, you know. It was kind of, she was seeing me do well, she'll see her son succeed at what he wanted to succeed at. And you know, I trained as much as I could, I did as much as I could, but lifestyle wise, I just didn't have those advantages that many others do. And it's not an excuse, but I'd exhausted all opportunity that I could, and I had great success off it, you know. But as I said, when my mum passed away 2 years ago now, it was like that spark in me had just gone as well. And on a deeper level, on reflection, I feel like the emotional attachment that I had to my sport was so strong, and it had a strong link to my mum, that when my mum went, my passion went, and I kind of lost the reason as why I started sport in the first place, you know. So that was quite difficult. But as I said, regarding motivation, that was it for me. That was it. And on a very side note, music was also a big part of my life and always is. You may see me wherever I go when we go to athletics tracks. I never have my headphones away from me. They're always with me, no matter where I go, no matter if I'm in public. Even on a birthday night out once, like the DJ was so dead, I had my headphones. I'll put my headphones on. So, you know, I'm a big music head, and that takes me to a place where I can just zone out and connect with my energies, you know. And so for me, that's always been my motivation. But as I said, it kind of came to an end when my mum passed away, and since then I've just been trying to find my way into finding that motivation and love for the sport for what it should be, which is just enjoyment, you know. And yeah, I'm sure we'll come more into that a little bit later. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like I mean, I didn't know any of this stuff. It's an remarkable story that you were able to even compete after that accident and still achieve an amazing things that you did. And, you know, it's totally understandable with that association, how sport suddenly it was still important, but kind of faded a little bit with the passing of your mum. But at the same time, it's great that you're still finding your way back to it. So that on a somewhere deep down, it is still a part of your identity and who you are, and you're able to sort of express yourself through that still.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I always when I lost my mom, it was quite a weird period actually, because it was my mum got so bad that she could only do the Stoke Open. So like, if you don't know what an open meeting is, it's like think of football. It's like a friendly for anyone and everyone just to join in and participate. And at the time, my mum could only travel to Stoke-on-Trent to watch them do this meeting. So I only did that meeting for her. And at the time, she was in hospital just before the season started. Actually, my first open meetings were normally Liverpool and Stoke-on-Trent, Stoke Open, and it was reversed this season. Last season, sorry, before. So I went to Liverpool, and it was the Friday. Sorry, the Friday. My mum was in the hospital, and she was conscious and she was breathing and everything else. And I remember going up to her and I said to her that I'm competing tomorrow in Stoke. And she said, "Oh my God, I'm going to miss it, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Don't worry about it. I'll let you know how I get on. Just make sure you recover, you know." And I said, "Look, I'm going to have to go. But I'll come back to see you after I compete." And told her I loved her. And as I said, as I walked out, she, as I was walking out, she shouted at me. She went, "Nage." I stopped and said, "Yeah." She goes, "Thank you, I love you," you know. I said, "I love you too." And then that was the last time I had actually had a conversation with her. So I went to Liverpool the next morning, 3 hours before the competition. The hospital called me. My dad was doing the photography, of course, and had his athletes competing, and I was in Liverpool, and the hospital called me. And I was thinking the worst, you know. I was just thinking, like, what's going on? Like, what happened? What's going on? Like, they said they couldn't tell me over the phone. So at that moment, I was broke down in tears because I was thinking, like, has she gone? Has she not? You know, I've been with her for a whole life, been caring for her since the age of 8 years old, you know. So, like, why am I now not there? Like, all these thoughts, as you can only imagine, I'm sure, coming through your head. And to get myself in a state of mind where I was trying to warm up and I was crying. And I remember saying to myself, well, if she has gone and I get there, you've done the best you can as a son, and she would want you to compete. So I made the decision to compete. And then I told my dad what was going on, and obviously there was quite a few throwers around and a few coaches that were talking to me, because you have your little followings in athletics, you know. People want to know how you're getting on, and I just couldn't speak to no one. And I just wasn't myself. But I remember competing, and I threw like 49 meters, I think, like 4 or 5 times. I just wanted to get the competition done. And then as soon as I threw my last one, I just ran over, got my stuff, said, "Dad, we need to go. I was welling up. I was crying. I was like, Dad, we need to go. My dad was talking. He's like, hang on. He just said, no, Dad, we need to go now. Like, now. And then he just came. And then I went in the car. We drove back to Stoke. I got to the hospital. And she hadn't passed away, which was, I was thankful, but she was unconscious. She lost consciousness, and the doctor told me that in her sleep that she was sick, but the sick went back into her lungs, so she developed some pneumonia, and she was already in there for one problem. So because her body was so weak from liver damage and her blood was so thin because she was an alcoholic, it was difficult for her to recover on both angles. So she was in really, really poor condition, and that that day was a lot of. There's a lot of story that I believe I think I should share in order to put weight on this moment, because it's quite the power of it. It will stays with me to now. I've got goosebumps thinking about it. But yeah, she was in a state of where I just, I couldn't speak to her. She wasn't conscious and she was struggling to breathe. And the family was there. Her mum was there, my grandma and her sister, and myself. And yeah, it was my whole life. I was kind of my whole life. I've always been trying to keep my mum on the right path, the right track, trying to stop her drinking and all sorts, And I kind of had to grow up really quick. The first time I had to call the ambulance for us when I was like 8. She shot. We lived in a flat in a council estate in Bentley at the time, and I remember like 3-4 in the morning. She was shouting my name, screaming, and I must have been what, God, yeah, 8 years old. I'd say, yeah, I think I was 8, 9. And she was screaming, saying, "Need help, help!" I remember I was going in the bathroom, and there was just like blood everywhere. I didn't know. I ain't got a clue what to do other than, just ask if she was okay. And I called 999. And then I remember my neighbor downstairs, or our neighbor, sorry, her name was Sylvia, bless her. She was an ex-nurse, so I knocked on her door. She said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" In a Stokey accent, of course. "Oh, you're right, doc."
Yeah.
And I said, "My mum, she's bleeding. The whole bathroom's full of blood. I don't know what to do." She came up, and then I just remember keeping the woman on the phone told me to keep her warm and keep talking, make sure she's breathing, stuff like that. Someone's on the way, and I remember giving my addresses. And then 2 days later, it's the first time I saw her wired up, in hospital. It was quite scary. It was quite it was me. That was me learning a part of life, of the dangers of alcohol and mental health. I suppose at that age, it was very, very difficult. And the saddest thing for me was that I felt my mum's side of the family just weren't supportive enough. I was vulnerable, and she in my opinion, they may always have their own opinion on it, but it was my life that I lived, and for me, the family just weren't there enough for her at all, to the stage where I felt like it was only me. I didn't trust the family. She didn't trust the family. Mum would make comments and stuff. And my mum was an incredible artist, incredible artist. If I could show you the pictures, I really would, and the paintings she's done and the clay pots she's made. But they just kind of took advantage of that, I feel, at times, like for like birthdays and Christmas, my mum would put her whole heart, and she never had money. So she would paint these incredible pictures to give out as Christmas and birthday gifts, but mum wouldn't all the time receive a card, or I wouldn't receive a birthday card. And you take ownership of all these things, and you ask the question, why weren't you there? Why were you not here? So I became the man of the house. And as I said, when I was 8 years old, we left to go to Bentley because my mum was in an abusive relationship. So I remember when I was around 6 or 7, there's this guy, I'm not going to say his name, but yeah, he mistreated my mum really, really bad. He beat my mum, he raped her, he psychologically drained her. Like he did everything you could probably think of under the sun other than kill her. in that respect. And I remember coming home once, and it's after school, and my mum had done dinner. We had good old bangers and mash, if you know what they are. Shout out to you guys. Good old sausage and mash and gravy, you know.
Yeah.
And the food was cold, you know. The food was cold because he came in late from work. And my mum was like really nervous before he even came in, you know. And I just remember him picking up the food, slapping it against the kitchen wall. Yeah, having a go at mum, shouting. My mum was screaming, crying. I went to the phone. The time we had house phones. Went to try and call my dad, and he came over to me. Said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I want my dad." And he pulled out the phone wire and then said to me, "Oh, you don't need to do that. Don't worry. Go to your room." So I went to my room, and then obviously my mum. I just heard my mum getting beaten, and
How old
it
was
wasn't
you?
nice. I'd say I was 7, 8 years old, just before we moved to Bentley. And then he flooded our home out once as well, with the the dryer, sorry, like took the pipes out, and yeah, he flooded the kitchen. He left my mum outside naked, on the doorstep in the rain, told her to take her clothes off, left her outside, you know. And there was a lot, man, for dad to take in as a youngster. So I kind of had to be protective for her, you know. And for me, that was a hard time, obviously at that time. And as she's grown old, as we moved to Bentley, obviously she went to hospital and she had the wires in her and stuff. And then um, it was when I was at Bentley, I was there for around what I was there till 14, so I was there for a good 6, 7 years. You know, I was comfortable, it was nice. And I remember the same guy tried to climb through the window. He
Mm.
found out where my mum lived. He tried to climb through the window, but he got stuck in a little
Yeah,
patio
yeah,
window.
yeah, yeah.
So the police came, arrested him, and he was. All I remember him saying at that age was, "Oh, I only wanted my glasses. My glasses were here. Blah blah blah."
Mm.
And I just remember sitting on the step, just staring at him. You know, just so angry, so full of rage. I wanted to punch his face. I wanted to hurt him real bad. You know.
Mm.
And that kind of was my mum's lifestyle in a negative circle. And as I've got older, I got used to seeing this level of behavior, you know, and I started to study, not study in terms of read books, but like just observe really deeply.
Mm.
And like I've now got to a stage where like I'm like highly emotionally intelligent, so I pick up off on energies and vibes really quick.
Yeah.
And that speaks to me before anyone. So I'm a really, really good judge of character and
Mm.
personalities, which has steered me good while obviously growing up. But with my mom, it was just looking at the type of guys she was bringing home in terms of boyfriends, relationships, and I was like, "You're not good enough," like, you know. And you can imagine the uproar that me and my mum, the arguments we had, you know, because I was
Mm.
trying to get my mum on the right path, trying to get her back into work, and you know, trying to stop her with the drinking and the alcohol. And that was literally ongoing for like what, 20 years, you know. So it was only like 2 years ago she'd passed. And as I said, coming up to that moment back into the hospital, when I said to you like it had that climax, and I come back from the competition in Liverpool, um she was conscious, of course, and my grandma wasn't even looking at her, but she was looking out the window next to her sister, and I was there on the side of the bed. And all my life, my whole life, I've been trying my best to get her to stop drinking, trying to work out why she was the way she was. I mean, she used to say she loved me all the time, you know. When we'd argue, she'd always tell me that. She used to say, "Nage, I tried to give you everything I never had." And when I was younger, I used to think, "What do you mean you never had a Man United shirt? What do you mean you never had football and that?" Do you know what I mean? But as I got older, I managed to find the piece, the picture to the puzzle, and state state that it was love that she was on about, whether she knew it or not. You know, it was love, and that was a deeper meaning. And her granddad was abusive to her from young, and I had to ask my great granddad a while back what my granddad's dad was like, and he said he was vile. So you can see how it kind of generations passed down onto my mom.
Yeah.
And my my auntie. I remember asking my auntie, did my mom ever say anything when she was younger about how she felt in the family and stuff? And she told me that when she was young, she thought she was adopted. She felt an outcast then. So it
Mm.
just goes to show how, these are problems that were there before I was even born, So past moving on generations, I've had to then take on mum's problems, my granddad's problems, and it's all been filtered. And I've had to be the one to stop that rot, stop that run.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just been so draining, so heavy. But at the time, I didn't realize the strength that I had or what was going on, because I just did it because I love my mum. It was second nature, survive. My whole life I've lived to survive. I've never actually lived my life properly. So my friends are doing their driving and stuff, and I'm there with like 30 quid left to my name for a month after paying mum's bills, and we got no food here, and we got beans and toast. Like, that's it. Like, it was quite, I wouldn't say upsetting, but like, as I said, I just grew up quite quick, and I knew what was important in life, and I was very settled to have very little as long as I was happy and my mum was good. And so, as I said, when I got to the stage at the hospital after that competition in Liverpool, I remember speaking to my auntie, and she was saying that my mum felt like an outcast, and my mum did everything she could when she was little. She, if one of the brothers had messed up, she'd get the beatings, even if it wasn't her fault. She was the one dressing all the younger children in nappies, but she was the youngest. She never had a child of herself. And I feel like my mum's energy, when I think about it now, that she just wanted to be a child herself. We'd dance in the streets and we'd sing in the streets and we wouldn't care, And that was quite nice looking back. So there's all these little links to her history that have come forward. And it was when I was sitting down, holding the rail, thinking about all these things. And then I remember looking up, thinking my grandma on the right, and thinking, it's your fault. It's yours and my granddad's fault, And all this 20 years of rage and anger and pain that I've been holding was like boiling. I could feel it. Like, I was seeing red mist. I'm just thinking over and over again, thinking, it's your fault, it's your fault. And I remember just gripping the rail, and I was shaking it, like, just gripping as hard as I could, shaking it like, I don't know what I was gonna do. I just remember feeling rage. That was it. And I'm looking at her thinking, it's your fault, it's your fault. And then whilst I'm looking at her, she's not even looking at her own daughter, my mum, in the hospital. And I heard her say, it's my fault. So for me, then I was thinking, yeah, it's your fucking fault, excuse the French, sorry. It is your fault, it is your fault. Like, why don't you tell her you love her? Why don't you start again? Why don't you just say you were there for her? It's the basics to me. Like, all she had to say is, I'm sorry, Claire, I love you. That was it. And that would have meant the world to my mum, to give her a fair chance at having another go at her life. Whereas I've been spending all my life trying to stop her, and the problem was there before I even got into this world. So for me, these are thoughts that are going through my head, and I can only speak for me on behalf of the family of how I felt, but I felt disappointed, I felt let down, and that was a consistent feeling for me, I didn't feel mum was accepted, even in the streets. People would look at me, being a mixed race, tall, 6'2" black lad or whichever, and this 5'7" white woman, as if like she was a carer. And you could see the looks that I was got given at my mum, and that angered me as well. Just going to the post office, taking an hour to walk into the post office, and seeing her struggle up the hills, and she was shaking. And she was only 47, which had like the body of like a 70-year-old at the time, and it was so heartbreaking to see. But that automatically turned into motivation for me, because I was a very strong individual in terms of, I know my worth, and as long as I'm protecting my mum, you are nothing to me. So that instant rage and sadness to see people look and treat my mum a certain way just turned into a positive motivation. My sport, it would help me sprint harder, it would help me jump harder. It would just, I'll do extra training sessions, I'd do an extra throw. If it was raining, if it was snowing, I'd still throw. I'd work on technique. I'd do anything just to make that goal happen. So before she passed away, she could see me, and I already knew a long time ago that she'd pass away. I just never knew when, and it's not a nice feeling when you're 11, 12 years old, thinking mum's going to die one day, and you carry that with you. You never know when it's going to happen. And then when it does happen, you're still not ready for it. And yeah, as I said, I was so angry in that moment, thinking all these thoughts. And I remember just standing up and I booted off the hospital door, booted it off, kicked it, storming down there, found myself venting, raging, sweating, tears. And then I turned right, I went out this other door and I punched the door, and then all hell just broke loose. I just let it out, you know, screaming, crying, kicking the floor, punching the floor, shouting at anyone and everyone, trying to get off me, F this, F that, F you. Every curse word you could think of in patois, in English, and everything, you know. I walked outside, got to the stairs. My auntie came to me, and I remember saying, "It's okay, Nate, it's okay." I said, "Get the F out my face. I just want to kill somebody. I want to strangle someone. I want to kill you. Get out the effing face. Leave me alone." And this time, my dad just came up the stairs because he just parked his car. He came in, and I remember holding him, and I was crying. So I'm trying not to get emotional for you guys, but as I said, I feel things quite a lot. So apologies if I do cry. But
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, man.
There's no judgment.
It's a touching story.
Yeah, man. My dad took me outside the hospital. He said, "Look, Nate, just get outside, vent outside. You know, vent outside." Because my dad told me, he says, like, if I lost you in the hospital, there would have been nothing I could have done. Because he said you would have gone, like, gone. And yeah, I went outside, and I remember having a bagel in my hand, and I sat down, and I was staring at the floor, and I was venting. I was breathing, then I went really quiet, and all I remember was just like scrunching up the bagel in my hand. My fist was so tight, and I stood up, and then I just screamed like, "Why?" at the top of my voice, like literally, "Why?" And then I remember having an image of my grandma. I was shouting at my grandma, saying, "Why didn't you tell your lover? You know, you stupid this. Every word you can think of." Punching the floor, slapping the floor, crying, to the point where, to the point where I was just exhausted. I was lying flat on my back, just staring at the sky for what felt like an hour. Just, my dad just left me there, and I was crying, and yeah, man, it was, it still hurts now because I can still feel that pain. It was like my dad explained it as being, you know, just a lot of built up emotion and feelings and thoughts and upset, and yeah, that happened. that was what it was, and obviously I still feel that now. But it was just a very difficult time, and she passed away on a Sunday, and I remember the whole family being there, and I was on her bed, and my mum's family was there. It's the first time I've seen the whole family be there for her, which was quite sad, if I'm honest. In that respect, you know, in masses. And I remember her best friend Judith was at the end of the bed, and my mum was on 100% oxygen at the time. Eyes were all yellow and pus through her nose and stuff. So she was. The doctors made the decision that she's going to have to come off her oxygen sooner or later. So I said, as I said, Judith was at the end of the bed, sorry, and she was saying she's talking, and at this moment everyone was quite quiet, like just in their own thoughts. And she said, "I think she's saying your name, Nate. I think she's saying your name." And I was like, what do you mean? You know, I looked at her like, what do you mean? I looked at my mom, and on my life to this day, it was so beautiful. Like, I could see that she had a bit of consciousness. She was close to going, and she was literally saying my name. She said about 8 times really loud. And at that point, I stood up and I went to her, and my face was like no more than, I don't know, like a millimeter away from her. Like, I was trying to look into her eyes, into her pupil, just to see if she was connecting with me. And I moved a little bit left or right, and I could see if people was moving. And at that point, I just told her, I said, "You've done your job as a mother. I'm proud of her, and I love her." And that, you know, I said she can go, and it's okay. I'm gonna be okay. I got my dad, and sorry.
It's okay. Wow.
That's a tough story, man.
Yeah, man. It was I was happy that I managed to have that connection with her at the end, but it was difficult. But when she left, I was quite proud because I felt like everything I could as a son, and for me that was I was so happy because her family were crying and stuff, but I was just happy. And I know it sounds really alien and stuff, but I think I was just relieved that she was in no more pain and you know, like she was free.
Yeah.
She was free, you know, and that she did a job as a mother, because she gave me everything that she said she never had, you know, which was love, and through that love, I managed to connect with so many people, and it's a strong part of why people kind of like myself. You know, it's there's a lot of compliments that I receive to this day that get sent to my dad or to me personally that just say how much of respect they have for me as a person, and because I am so understanding and so loving in that respect. You know, I got that from my mum, and for me, she'll never see how many people she affected through me, but because of her and her love, obviously my dad as well, but for those emotional times, people have been able to warm to myself and my personality and my character, and that just makes me feel like they've warmed to her as well, whether they knew or not. So for me, that was so beautiful, and it was quite crazy when I left the hospital because everyone was crying, and I'm standing there, and I'm the one consoling everyone. I think that's the correct word, consoling.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So I was there like holding everyone, telling them it's gonna be okay, and I was saying, "Don't worry about this," and I'm gonna, you know, you're gonna be okay. On reflection, I think that should have been the other way around. You know, I should have been the other way. I wasn't crying. I wasn't upset. I was. It was such a strange thing, and no matter how you look at it, to me that doesn't sit right in a normal world. You know, you're a son.
But
You've
can I
lost
ask
your
you
mum.
something?
Yes, sir.
It just sounds like, is that kind of like, you know, because you said in a way you was kind of relieved. So it's like, is that like a moment of clarity or something that you just realize, you know, in that moment there with her grandmother, with her mother saying, you know, it's her fault, and it just feels like, is there some kind of moment of clarity there? Maybe that was what gave you some strength in that moment.
I don't even. I just think it was relief. I had so much pain attached to me that it was just gone. When my mum went, I felt it go, and it was a surreal experience. But my body literally got rid of energy,
Yeah.
and I felt it, like I genuinely felt my body it just went free.
Yeah. Because you could feel.
Tension, everything went, and
Yeah.
you know that's why I was so upbeat and so happy, and you know it sounds really weird, but I could have had a party in a sense of celebration that she's not in pain no more. You know, I was so
Yeah.
happy for her
Yeah.
that she didn't have to experience this, and she held on for 47 years or 27 years, as long as she'd known me. So yeah, it was difficult at that time, but you know the most powerful thing that happened for me was her funeral, because I didn't have a lot of money at all, and I had to find some way to get a funeral done together. You know, my connections with the family wasn't great. I didn't feel it was as strong as it could have been. But with respect to my family on my mum's side, you know, I feel like they did all they could regarding the funeral, and I was really happy with that. You know, that reassured me in my spirit at that time. That they was very supportive and stuff. And I remember in my house thinking, how much is it going to cost for a basic funeral? You know, it was like £1,400 and a little bit. And I thought, I ain't got £1,400, and that would have got me a basic coffin, a 30-minute ceremony, and I believe a car for me and my dad, and that was it. And I decided to make a GoFundMe page, and I wrote wrote what had happened and what had been happening as in the summary that I could, with the words that they granted me. And within 3 days, including my family's inputs and stuff, I raised over £3,000 within 3 days. And I can't even thank every single person that will contribute towards that, but they'll never know how much that meant to me, because most I'd say 80%, 90% didn't know my mum. A lot of people know my dad, and know him well, know me and my dad, but they never knew my mum. So that when that happened, I was just I literally just felt like if mum never loved me the way she did and my dad never loved me the way she did, the people wouldn't have donated the way they did so generously. And I think because they may not have known my mum or dad, they knew me. And I know a lot of people across the world who genuinely support me as an individual and respect me as an individual and hold me in high accounts. And that was just kind of because of my personality, I suppose, and that extends from my mum and from my dad. So obviously from myself regarding my choices and stuff and how I see life, but it just all felt like my mum got the send off she deserved, you know. And I just spent everything, flowers like rainbow flowers, because she was an artist and stuff. So yeah, we got everything done. We had extra service. I was able to get a room to have the wake at, and you know, even my grandma's old workplace before she died, and she used to work at Caribbean Centre in Osaka, they said they would help fund the food and stuff, you know. And it was just so much of a communal feeling from all across the world, from people I've met for like 10 minutes and people I've met for like my whole life. Just everyone came together in that moment for me, and it really highlighted my worth. The comments that I received, they were sympathetic, yes, but they were more so supportive, and the things people were saying to me were on the lines of things that me and them had personally achieved together or personally have experienced together, and how they appreciated me for these things. And you know, it became personal. It wasn't just, oh, here's 50 quid to hope you're okay, mate. It was, I don't think I had an I hope you're okay, mate kind of thing. You know, it was, everyone came with their personal stories, which I never asked for, and their reasons why they would help and donate and support. And even people I never thought that would, you know, it was just, it said a lot about the people, you know. And for me, my that was a life lesson of, you never know who you touch when you walk this earth. So every person you meet, just continue to have good energy and good vibes, because you don't know when you're going to need them most. And you may not need them personally, but obviously for my mum's funeral, that's all I wanted, as a send off that, you know, could happen, and we made it happen, you know. So my community made that happen, you know, and I'm so proud because my mum deserved that. My mum was all about love. My mum was all about fun. My mum was all about joy. She was all about singing and dancing. She, you know, she helped my best friend when he couldn't support himself food wise. We had like 2 tin of beans left and I think one slice of bread. She was like, take a tin of beans to run down. I'd walk for 30 minutes to go drop it at his house, you know. Like, that was my mum, you know. She didn't care what she had. She just wanted to make sure I was happy. And I've taken a lot of lessons from that on a humane standpoint. And as I said, now my mum's gone, kind of thing. It was I feel like it's been difficult for me to get back on track with my sports and stuff, because I'm trying to find my way back. But thankfully to a guy called Simba in my athletics, my teammate, and a good friend, of course. He randomly actually sent me a link, and it was Sporting Minds, and they were supporting people with mental health illnesses and issues. And I'd felt like I had PTSD for a while. Not that he would know, I don't believe, but something told him to share it to me, and I followed through. And as of next week, I will be starting my first counselling session. So things are in the right place. Things are moving forward for me. And I'm scared. I'm scared because I love my sport, but I haven't trained as hard as I can. I've only done yoga. And I've just been fighting with myself with these negative feelings because that motivation to do sport is no longer there for what it used to be. I love my sport. I still want to throw. I know that much. So that's positive. But the feelings I carry, the flashbacks I get, the nightmares, the anxiety and stuff like that from all this trauma that's kind of come to the surface now. I need to deal with that, and that for me, going forward into my sport is something that needs to be addressed. So shout out to Sporty Minds for supporting me, and Hooper, of course.
Very much.
I'm looking to work with those guys and do, hopefully on the back of it, I can do more for more young people like myself and more maybe athletes or people in general. I think that'd be positive.
What I think would be a good tool for you to get back into sport is to remove expectation on it. I think you should just go out there and just throw. Forget all the links. You need to sever the ties and make it your own, because for a long time it was associated with so many things, some of them not so positive, and you need to sever those links and make it your own. Remove the expectation and just enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy it for the new relationships, enjoy it for all those good things that it's brought into your life, and just focusing on those things. Because if it brings you a negative thought, I'm always of the opinion, if you're thinking about something, ask yourself the question, if it's bringing something negative, why am I thinking about it? Ask yourself, is it, so you need to find, you've got a big passion for it and you've still got a lot to offer in the sport and it's still there for you. I just think if you just try to remove the expectation and just take each day at a time and really enjoy the relationships that you gain from at the track. I know what it's like. I know you've got a good set of friends with the discus guys. They're all great guys, really nice. I understand you got quite a good relationship with Brett as well, and he's been 100%. He's been a very big support with you, and he's had his own dramas as well. As I've heard. So just really realize that you've got that community around you, as it's been shown many times before, and just focusing on that, and it will come to you. It will come.
You're gonna have to when something traumatic changes in your life, like everything is connected, isn't it? So it's kind of, you get those conversations that you're gonna have now with this is a therapist or someone. It's gonna be good just to kind of reorganize everything in your mind. And I'm sure that way you'll find your passion again. It's just
100%. I know one thing that does motivate me, and I know that if I can throw 50, like, actually I got a cool story for you. It's not as emotional. It is emotional on a stress level, but it's quite funny. It was last season, and I was coming back from Germany from a modeling shoot, but my plane was delayed as always. Shout out to Flybe. They're just always late, man. They need to fix up. Yeah. But I remember to get to Birmingham, right? And I got at Birmingham. I had my baggage and everything with me, a training kit, all in one bag. I'm sprinting from Birmingham. I don't know if you've been to Birmingham Airport. I'm sure you have if you have. But you go up the escalators, get in a little shuttle bus, gets you to the train station where the taxis are and stuff, and then you got to sprint again. I was running, I was sweating. Oh my God, I was sweating like a traveller with a mortgage. I promise you. I was gone. Like, I was done. That was it. Train pulled off. I was like, great. There was 3 minutes to go for another train. I thought, okay, let me get it. Bear in mind, my ticket was only valid for the one I missed. I jumped on the same train, but it was just 3 minutes different. I looked at my my watch. I thought, right, I've got one train to get to Sheffield, because this is a competition at Sheffield. And I'm probably going to have like 2 minutes to catch it before the doors close. We pulled up outside Birmingham. I'm thinking, right, I've got 5 minutes. I know I can deck these stairs. I've done many hill sprints. I've done many stair runs. I can pound these stairs. I've got it. Yeah, I can get to platform 6 to 12 in less than 30 seconds. I'm making this train. I kid you not, boys, right? The train doors just wouldn't open. They weren't opening. I'm looking around thinking, why is this? What, like, you're here, open the door.
Yeah.
3 minutes. I stood there thinking, no, this is not happening. I got off. As soon as I got off, bang, straight up the stairs. I even used the escalators. Pounding. Got to platform 6. Train's just like closing its doors. I was like, nah, this can't run. This can't be happening, man. Come on. I said to the instructor, look, mate, that's my train I've missed. The train I was just on was just stood at the platform with the doors closed for like 3 minutes. This made me miss my train. He says, oh, yeah, and this way he gave me a bit of hope. He says, oh, if you go to the control room, they'll sort you a taxi because, you know, if you explain what happened, they'll have the proof that the train didn't open its doors, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Cool, no problem. So I'm walking, I call my team manager, Dave. Said, right, this is the situation, what's happened, as I've just explained to you guys. You're going to get me a taxi to Sheffield. I get there, said to the gentleman exactly what just happened. And he said, you guys said the gentleman down there said he'd get me a taxi based on the train you missed. Said, have you got your legit tickets? I says, yes. He looked at him on my phone. He says, so which train did you get, sorry, from the platform, from the airport? I was like, oh, shit, here we go. I was thinking, well, I was meant to get that one, but I had to get the one after because I missed it because the plane was delayed. It says, unfortunately, and you know when you say unfortunately, that's it. Your head's gone, man. You're thinking, just give me the news, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because you didn't catch the other train and it's not our fault, yeah, we can't get you a taxi. We can't refund this for a taxi fare to your destination. I says, but I managed to make the train after it, yeah. I don't mind paying for that ticket now, but I managed to make that train after it. And that train after 3 minutes, the one that came on after at Birmingham, like was like delaying at Birmingham New Street, like he wouldn't open his doors. If he opened his doors, I guarantee I would have made that in 30 seconds. Like I sprint now. I said, mate, I got there on time. I promise you. He said to me, listen, you're a big chap with all your bags. I says, I have no doubt that you would have made them flights of stairs and made that platform in less than 30 seconds. However, we have to give a 12-minute window from the time that you booked, from the train that you actually booked your ticket for. If you'd have got that train, you wouldn't have missed it. I was like, oh, okay. So you got procedures and stuff in place. I'm thinking, great. I'm competing the next day, bear in mind.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, you know what? What can I do? Called Dave. I couldn't get he was telling me try and get a hotel, this and this. Couldn't find a hotel. I called my my modeling agencies to try and sort me a hotel somewhere. They couldn't. So I was like, great, I'm struggling. I literally fell asleep in Birmingham train station with all my bags, just holding them, falling asleep. I then get woken up at 11:30. Just after, and the gentleman says, you can't stay here, mate. I said, mate, I'm not homeless, I'll be honest. Like, but this is my situation. He says, no, it's not that, mate. Like, we're closing. So no matter what, you need to move on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great. I said, so where can I go? My man goes, there's a McDonald's. I was like, what? What do you mean on McDonald's? What do you mean on McDonald's? I'm sitting there thinking, and all my thoughts of what obviously how I was living before with my mum just came back thinking, you know what, it is what it is, cool, like, no stress. You know what I mean? I've lived in worse. So I said, okay, where is it? I went to the first Mackey's just outside, and that was ram out with loads of drunk people because it's a weekend, Friday. So I was thinking, nah, this can't run, I can't stay in here. I said to the gentleman, I said, look, mate, there's a 24-hour Mackey's somewhere around here. Can you show me where it is? I said, I've got like 5% on my phone, like, you know. He said, right, go right, go left, go forward, all that rubbish. Got to the Mackey's. I thought, right, okay. Looks like I'm staying in Mackey's tonight then. So I tried my best to stay awake. I bought myself a coffee and a hot chocolate together so I can make a mocha. So I had 2 drinks, you know, hustle if you know how to hustle. And then I fell asleep in the corner, like right in the corner, trying to like just cover my face and all of that. And then the guy come up to me, security guard, said, oh, mate, you can't sleep here. Like, oh, bro. So I had to explain the story again. With the added bit of, this is where Mackey's is now, it's where I'm at. I said, look, I'm an athlete. I've got a job. I'm doing bits. I'm just in this situation, and I need you to help me to get out of this situation by letting me just sleep for 3 more hours. The man told me the station's back open at 5:30. My train comes at 6. I will be gone, bang on, 5:29 if you want me to. Like, just let me, please. He's like, right. And he said to me, try and make it look like you're awake then. I thought, I ain't got a how what that means. I ain't got a how what that means, but I tell you what, I'll make it happen, mate. Don't worry.
That's
So I
it.
sat there. I put my hand in my head like this on the side. Remember back a day at school when you used to try and hide your headphone in there.
Yeah.
That was me. I did that. Put my head to one side. Put my bags in the corner. I nodded off. Put my alarm on. I woke up at 5:15. No bother, no minor. I ended up leaving, as I said, 5:29, bang on the dot. I got to New Street at 2:45. Got on my train. Got on my train to Sheffield. I had to catch 2 trains. I had to go to Loughborough first, then to Sheffield. I was shattered. I called my teammates in the morning. I said, "Bro, listen, I'm on the train now. I'm gonna get a taxi to the hotel. It is what it is." I get to the Sheffield. I'm shattered. I'm tired. Like my neck's hurting, back's hurting. I'm meant to be competing. Like, I ain't doing this. But I thought it is what it is. I had no stress on me. I literally took all the stress on me. I said, "It is what it is." You get me? Got to the hotel. I had to sign in at the hotel for the night before. And then before I went to get an hour's sleep, I went to breakfast. I was the first one at breakfast.
Yeah.
I was eating my breakfast. Then I went to the hotel. I got 40 minutes sleep. And then I got a lift to Sheffield Stadium. At which point, obviously, I'm not competing till I think it was like 12 or 1 o'clock. Something I'm absolutely caked. Greg put his bed out, and I'd obviously his massage bed. Sorry, and I slept on there. Dave woke me up. He says, "Can I get you anything, kid?" I said, "You know what, Dave? I'd love a Red Bull right now." He says, "All right then." He got me a Red Bull from that little mini bar that we see in Sheffield.
Yeah.
I got the Red Bull. I did no warm up. I literally just stretched, loose, walked off over in my slippers. Dead relaxed. In the competition, I threw 53 meters. So I was just like, I was thinking, you know what? I haven't trained this season for obvious reasons. Obviously, I was grieving and stuff. I've just slept in Mackey's. I did a fitness session running from train to train and Mackey's to Mackey's.
That was your warm up, right?
Yeah, literally. And then I'm just going to throw 53 meters off the back of nothing. And
that's
that was
it.
motivation to say, you know what? Yeah,
That's
you
it.
are good. You are still good enough to do bits. And as I was saying, like, I just feel like I'm in a position now with myself where I've got my time now. I've got time for me. And I've been struggling with that mentality where I've been able to live for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm free to do me, and that's quite alien to me, which is it's quite silly when you think about it. But for me personally, it's quite serious because most people have had their life growing up looking after themselves, whereas I've just been growing up looking after my Marjay and doing the best I can, and that's been my whole life. Now I've got me time. It's like now I can take advantage of this opportunity. I'm still 27. I know if I can dedicate my time where I'm enjoying it now to build my body as a discus thrower should, and to put the hours and efforts in, and I can throw 53 meters after sleeping in Mackey's and having no sleep, then I'm pretty sure that I can do big things, and that's big motivation. That's always in my head, and it always inspires me to just hang on, But I do need to sort my mental health out first regarding the PTSD that I clearly have, and I can't rush it. It's not a rushing process, much as I want to. Much it scares me because I don't want to miss out on the chance of being a good discus thrower, but I've really got to sort it out, and I think I will still compete, but this is a start for me to, as Winston said, clear everything out and just find those good attachments again and go from there. So that's where I'm at, and hopefully the link up with Booper and Sporty Minds, I can really thrive it and get back to that, because I don't think I have a problem with knowing why I feel how I feel, but actually dealing with how I feel is a completely different thing, and that's where I need support. So I feel like I've got rid of the first stage, because a lot of people go into mental health thinking I don't know why I feel this way, and me being very intuitive and me being very, say, emotionally aware of myself, I've been able to understand to the core why I feel how I feel and how everything's connected. But dealing with those feelings is very new to me, and I need that. I need support there, I need support there, and that I'm hoping and praying actually that will be the kickstart of a new Najee, a different athlete that's not fighting to survive, but fighting to actually go out there and be the best he can with no without having his hands tied behind his back, shall we say. And that's what drives me. That's the image that drives me. And who knows what could happen? If I can do 53 after sleeping in Mackies, then, you know, what can I do when my body's as big as my dad's and I'm performing at my best, you know? And that just keeps me motivated massively.
That's good. That's great to hear. It's an absolutely remarkable story. It's crazy to think all the things you've gone through and still maintained, you know, such the smile on your face, you know, because every time I go to the track, every time I see you, you're, you know, life and soul.
Man.
You're always the life and soul. And it's always great to see you. And it's, you know, never in a million years would I have thought all of these things had happened. And
I
it's
appreciate
just
that.
a testament to your strength and your determination. And you know, the fact that love managed to get through to you at all costs, you know, despite everything, because it could have been so different.
Not only that, shining through you, everyone around you can see it. You know, that you said came from your parents. It shines straight through you. I think that's quite amazing. That story, you can see your character. You've built like an amazing character. So I wish the best for you getting through this now. So.
Yeah,
appreciate that, Winston. Thank you.
It's really great. Just now, quickly. So going back to your modeling thing, how has that changed you? Has it opened up? So obviously, it's opened up a few new doors, and you're starting to be in the public eye a little bit more. So, you know, how's the pressure of that now, or not pressure, but how are you enjoying that?
You know what? I think it came at such a beautiful time, and you know, for those that believe in God and God's angels and all of that, I believe it was just one of those moments. I remember sitting down on the laptop at my old home, and I was on ASOS, and a model, big and tall model, his name's Scott Bailey, so shout out to Scott Bailey as well. I actually speak to him now from time to time, which is quite crazy. Really nice lad. I was sat down on the settee with my laptop going through ASOS, and I've seen him. With no disrespect to the guy, but I looked at him and all I saw was just confidence, and I was like, I could do that. I literally thought to myself, like, I can do that. So I thought, you know what? Okay, let's give it a go. So I went on Google. Rookie error, by the way. Don't ever do this. You'll know why in a second. I went on Google, checked out to try and find model agencies, how to become a model, and I signed up to this competition. They said the only you had to do is send a selfie. I was thinking, I think my brain just went away with the idea so much I wasn't thinking of the logistics of this site and etc. Anyway, skipping a few parts of the story, I ended up getting a call back saying we really like it, blah blah blah. Come to London, do a photo shoot. Sick. I was so gassed. At this time, money was still low. Like couldn't do anything. So my ex took me down to London, and I went to this place. And it was so shabby. It was on top of a pub. I was thinking, what am I doing here? But I thought, no, it's optimistic, you know, it's all good. Let's give it a run. Got inside, had the makeup done, all of that, which was just, I'll be honest, it was a bit much for me personally.
Yeah.
I thought, if this is the industry I'm going in, then just accept it with all arms. Got my outfits on, and I took the pictures. After having the pictures done, I was told that they really like me, etc., etc. Have I done it before? I says no, and he said to join up to start up, you're gonna have to pay X amount. It was definitely more than four figures. Definitely more than four figures.
One of those jobs.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in there thinking, oh, is this serious? And they told me that the next job they're recruiting for is John Lewis. So I was thinking, they said you'll make 15 grand off that anyway. And I thought, well, those numbers sound legit anyway, because I know that happened. So it was all looking legit anyway. Me being me, ended up happening. We ended up paying with that money for saved money out of a saved account. Yeah, trying to get past this bit of the story because it still burns me. But the irony is, I managed to get the pictures. From it. And I was so happy, you know, and I spoke to Brett because, as you know, as we spoke about Brett earlier, he's a discus, I'm also plus size model. And he was like, oh, bro, like, you know, sick, well done. And he was even sending me videos on the way down to London, showing me how to model and how to take the pictures and stuff, like, you know, so big credit to him. And obviously when I got the pictures back, I showed him, and he was like, bro, they're sick, like, they're genuinely sick. So here's me thinking, yeah, everything's all blessed. At this point, I just tried to start a new job working for young people with special needs at a college, special needs college.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the John Lewis job didn't come through. And I was thinking, what's going on here? So I'm thinking, oh God, what have I done? But at the same time, Brett said, speak to my agent, send them to my agency. You know, they're really good. They'll like them. So this happened where I was thinking, oh God, like I've just been done out of here money. But at the same time, I've got an agency chance here. They may like me. They called me and they said, well, we really, really like your content. The manager really likes your content. Like, we just want to sign you if we can. I was like, well, what does that mean? You know? I said, we'll send you a contract through, have a read, have a look, blah, blah, blah. I had to call the other company to say, well, am I signed to you or not? Like, what's the logistics of it? You know, talk to me. And he says, no, if you find an agency that want to sign you, then you're allowed to accept it. So I was thinking, they have just fully scammed me of money. I explained this to the other agency, and I was thinking, well, they haven't asked me for money.
No.
I'm thinking, bloody hell, that's a myth. That's a myth.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up signing for them. The agency accepted me. They enjoyed the pictures and stuff. And then I think it was a week later, a German agency who were also not assigned to Bridge, but are in connection with Bridge, they signed me there called Curve Model Management. And then the week after that, 2 weeks after that, or just under 2 weeks, I was on a plane to Germany to do my first shoot for Zalando.
Nice.
Which was a whole mega experience.
Wow.
And it's funny because I remember on the plane thinking that my mom always said I should be a model. And you know, when you're like, when I was younger, I had this mad afro. Yeah, we're not getting to that because it's not legit. We don't need to talk about that. But ultimately, I had this hairstyle, and someone approached my mom and asking if, when I was younger, if they could use me and stuff. And my mom asked me, and I said, no, I'm all right, you know. Not really me. I want to do my football. I want to be a footballer, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And when my mum moved into her care home, bless her, she was saying, no, you just take such a good picture, you should go. But you know when you think, oh, mum, you're just saying it because it's your mum and I'm your son. And, you just want to brush it off like that. Don't worry about it. And I'm sitting on the plane thinking, oh, she was right. And I feel like that was a blessing from her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was at Zalando, which was massive, and I didn't even know who Zalando was at that time because I wasn't really into fashion like that. And it was a big company, you know, it was massive. And I met these great people. I met a guy called Jamie. He's incredible, man, top man. Still speak to him now, and it was just a surreal experience. And then the best part of it was come January, I just got back from Germany on the Wednesday, and then I had to go to ASOS to do fittings on Friday, and I got back and I was shattered. I got home, had my dressing gown on, put the PlayStation on, listened to my friends, talking to my friends in the PlayStation chat, and I get a call off my agent saying, like, oh, Najee, this is literally her. It's Najee, like, oh my God. I was like, right, okay, calm down for one. Are you okay too? How can I help free? She's like, I'm so sorry, I'm just so excited. I said, well, that's good. In my head, I'm thinking she's excited. She's not vexed or upset. That's good. I ain't done nothing wrong. She says she's excited. And she says, how would you like to go to the Caribbean? In my head, I'm thinking, well, I'm half Jamaican, so it's a dumb question, but yes, of course.
Yeah.
And she says, right, we've got a big opportunity. They've shortlisted 3 of you. You're one of the 3. I said, okay, cool. She says, right, what I need you to do is take pictures of yourself in your underwear, how you are now, because it's for a beach ad. I said, okay, cool, I'm on it. I sent it over. She said, right, I'll call you back if let you know what's going on. My boys are on the mic. Obviously, they can hear what's going on, and they're like, oh my God, as if you just got backyard and you're dressing guy, now you're going to the Caribbean. I said, bro, it's not happening. Like, they're just telling me right now. Do you know what I mean? They're just saying to me like, I could potentially go. Anyway, long story short, they ended up saying to me, yeah, they picked you, cool, this, and I'm thinking, sick, I'm going to the Caribbean. And it was Anguilla at the time. And bro, I kid you not, like, when she called me, I says, okay, so like, when do I go? What's the plan? How long have I got? She goes, you've got 3 hours to pack. I'm like, what? I was like, no way. So my boys are on the PlayStation mic going, just like that, yeah. Is that you? Oh, no. I was like, yeah, that's me. Come on.
That's it.
So they paid for a taxi from Stoke-on-Trent straight down to Heathrow. Or was it Gatwick?
Wow.
I can't remember. I should remember.
Oh.
But yeah, the furthest one away. It was a trek. They paid for a taxi, and the taxi driver was so nice. He was such a nice man. You know, you get some taxi drivers who just their attitude's just stinking, man. I'm just like, no, come on, man. Like, you need some Febreze on your attitude. This isn't fair. I'd be nice. He was incredible. He was such a nice man. He brought me. I was sleeping in the car.
Yeah.
He took me down and he brought me a coffee and a little cake. And he was like, I thought you'd need this because you're tired and stuff. He didn't even know me, so I started to talk to him, and he had a family and kids. Really nice man. And then I got to the airport, and then when I get there, my agency called to see if you were okay. I was a little bit annoyed at the time because I was thinking, like, I've got a long waiting now. I've got a long wait for my plane. I could have had more sleep and all of this. You know, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, blah, 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 blah. But I got there and I was happy. My agency called me and they said, right, okay, not allowed to say anything, but you're potentially going to be shooting with Ashley James. Is it Ashley James? I can't remember her name now. It was long because I wasn't really into fashion. I was like, who's that? Like, I genuinely didn't know her name. So who's that? And I was like, Ashley. No, why am I saying Ashley James? Edit that out. Ashley Graham, that's her name.
Yeah.
Apologies if she ever hears this. No disrespect, I just wasn't into fashion like that. But yeah, Ashley Graham, you know. And I was like, well, who's that? And I was like, because you don't know Ashley Graham. I says, well, I feel like I should know her, so let me just do a bit of research. And I thought, oh, I've seen her face before.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, so she's going there, blah, 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 blah. I had to go to Antigua first. I had to get to Antigua. Then I had to wait for like 5 hours, 6 hours. Then I had to get a small plane to Anguilla, which is so beautiful. When I get to Anguilla, they had a boat ride waiting for me. It took me from one island all the way to the other island. And it was just like, what is this experience like? This has just happened in the space of 24 hours. Like, what is going on? And in my head, I'm just thinking, you know what? This is like a send from God, man. Like, for real, this is like a break for you. Just, you know, just enjoy it. Got across there. Obviously, with me having Caribbean background, I speak quite heavy patois. So speaking to those guys was quite nice on the cultural link, you know. They're like, oh, you're light skinned, but you speak good patois, this, and this. I was like, yeah, no watch me, brother. No watch me. I'm feeling good. I can't lie. I was feeling good. Yeah. Anyway, got there. They looked after me, and I got to the hotel. I kid you not, it's about a 10-star hotel. I know you can't get a 10-star hotel, so don't gas. Unless you're in Dubai, maybe get a 7. But yeah, literally, I thought, what is this? Like, I do not deserve this. Personally, I don't know how I got this, but this is just blessed. I just remember just praying, saying thank you for the opportunity, and just, you know, just feeling really humbled and thankful for the opportunity that I got. And it was an incredible experience. And then obviously we met Ashley Graham the next day, and met some other models, another guy called Zach. And yeah, man, we vibed. We just literally had fun on the beach, running around in the water, taking shots, laughing, snorkeling, everything. And then like at nighttime, we all went to like this pool, and we were just chilling in the pool. And then we're just dead quiet, looking over the beach in this pool. And then Zach looked up. I was like, oh my God, look at that. And there was a red moon.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? And for 15, 20 minutes, we were just all staring, honestly, just staring at this moon. And I caught myself staring in the moment. And I looked out and I just thought, wow, like, this is so perfect. Like, I couldn't even make it up, you know? And I feel like it just gave me a lot of headspace, you know, a lot of headspace. Probably took me away from my feelings and thoughts at the time. And I really did kind of get to grips with how I was feeling and stuff. And yeah, so as I said, for me, that was the most positive aspect for me, you know, that to know that modeling has just taken me out of a zone, a lifestyle, taken me way further than Bentley could have taken me, you know. And as I said, modeling's been an escape, and I've met people, you know. I'm a very sociable person, so I've made more connections, more links across the board. I've had these conversations, and yeah, man, I was just so thankful, you know, so blessed for the opportunity to do what I do, and to know that, you know, what's out there for you is there for you. You know, I didn't actually have to graft and grind for it like many people have. It just fell on my lap, and I took the opportunity, and I'm very humble for that because I respect people's journey in this industry, especially, is very, very cutthroat. You know, and it was never that way for me. You know, and it was just so nice. And since then, I've traveled so many places through modeling, and it's just been a great break for me. So I do want to continue it, and I do like to dress up, like not in costumes and stuff, but I do like outfits. You know, I've noticed that I like my colors, I like my trainers, my kicks. I love accessories. That's just always been a part of me and my personality. I love color, so to have the creative mind to put that together as well, and to do my own photo shoots has just been incredible. You know, and I've met so many great photographers. There's so many, Gavin and Winston, great people that if I name one, I'd have to name another 1,000, and I just haven't got the time for that at all. But they know who they are, you know, and it's just so nice to be able to be in that comfort and continue to move with a lifestyle that I can enjoy another outlet for me, you know. So yeah, modeling's been incredible, and I do wish to continue it alongside my athletics, given the time. And it's just a shame that I haven't been able to travel due to the COVID situation, which has been a shame. But that'll pop back up soon, I'm sure. And I've still got my other job doing my youth work and youth mentor in Stoke-on-Trent, which I fully enjoy as well. So I'm still hanging on. I'm still hanging on.
No, that's great. It's just like, you know, a tale of two stories, from when you're younger to now. You know, just suddenly, it's just incredible. It's such a great journey. It could be a movie, you know. It's
quite easily.
It's really, really incredible, and how it's, you know, you still vividly remember all of these parts, you know, shows how important these parts were to you. And it's really had a profound effect on you and how you've moved forward in your life, and you've really chosen to use it in a positive light, whereas others may not have been able to, which is commendable. Again, you know, it just shows great strength. It's a testament to all of those things. And it's
thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
It's really, really good. And obviously, I didn't know half of this stuff, so you know, it's shed light on a whole new version of yourself.
That's a really contrasting story, you know, like the like really, really low points, and then just like unbelievable, unexpected high points, right? So it's kind of really humbling story.
And it's almost symbolic in a way, where you've spent, as you said, your early part of your life looking after someone else, and then when that stopped, it was your time, and then all of these things just suddenly started kind of landing in your lap. And it's just actually, literally, you know, it's just one of these things where it's just like, okay, now you're ready. Boom, here's everything.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's like I'm just
because you would have
still got my stabilizers on.
Yeah, it would have been very, very difficult for you to leave your mum, for example, to do all these modeling jobs at the time.
100%.
Yeah,
actually, to be fair,
time.
That just reminded me. I applied to go to America to get a scholarship out there, and I managed to do the SATs, and I wasn't very good academically, but I actually scored really high SATs. And the only thing that stopped me was the fact that I was like, well, who's going to look after my mum? You know, and I had 3 college offers that were willing to take me, and I just had to. I stopped. You know, I didn't end up taking it for that simple reason. You know, because my mum was most important, and I knew no one would care and look after the way I would, and I feel she should. And I knew that if I was across there, all I would be doing is thinking about her and if she's okay. And
of course,
you know, I wouldn't have enjoyed the experience. So that was. I ended up getting a job in a prison actually after that, doing youth working in prison, which was quite cool. So that was good. But I wouldn't. Those opportunities, as you said, wouldn't have happened because I was working with my mom, and now obviously my mom's in heaven. It's nice for me to have me time where I don't have to think like that. And that's not me being selfish, but that's me just realizing I've got an opportunity.
You're the last person that's been selfish, trust me.
Sounds like destiny in a way. Like, you know, you had opportunities come at the wrong time, and then, you know, when you're ready, they came again. It's meant to be.
It's meant to be. You know? It's meant to be. You know, it's this incredible journey. Really, really incredible journey. Okay, so just end it on a bit of a fun note.
Let's do it.
We all know you're a bit of a big Man U fan. Let's see how good you are on your little Man U facts. I'm going to ask you a few questions. and let's see if you got them.
Can I just say, just for the record, before we get into it, yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't got like Man United bedding and Man United pillows anymore. So my facts are only based on football analysis only, and the personal opinions that I feel are factual. However, I do feel I'm going to get more than 50% right.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see. All right. First question. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Alex Ferguson was appointed manager of Manchester United in 1986 after his predecessor was fired. Who was the predecessor? Who was the manager before?
I really want to say Aberdeen.
In terms of the manager, that was the guy who was managing Man U before Alex Ferguson took over.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant like what club he went from.
No.
That would have been a good question.
He was currently managing.
I wanted to say Samat. Was it Samat?
No.
Or was that a little bit later?
You definitely know who this person is.
Oh, it's going to frustrate me now. Genuinely, like no multiple questions, no little hints like that. No. You're Man U through and through. I really want to say Matt Busby, but I'm sure that was the one beforehand. And yeah, I'm gonna have to. Is there a timer on this? No. I'm gonna go to Matt Busby, obviously, but it's not the right answer. That's the last manager I remember before Fergie.
All right. Well, the answer was Ron Atkinson.
Oh, Ronnie! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, how'd you forget him?
Oh, Ronnie Atkinson.
Big Ron.
Crackers, man. Pressure, man. Right. You just taken me from a whole life. You're taking me from a whole life, and now you're telling me about Man United.
We know you're good at pressure, so you know.
Yeah. We thought all right, now the next one. You should get this one. This is more of a modern era one.
Don't be saying I should be getting this. Oh my god, come on.
We've got to raise the stakes. Who did Manchester United beat in the quarterfinal to win the Champions League in 1999?
99 quarterfinals.
Yeah, quarterfinal.
Oh, I believe it was 2-1 against Juventus. I want to say Juventus or Barcelona. One of those two.
Oh, you got the right country, but wrong team.
I know. 99. Oh, this is going to frustrate me. I wouldn't say Juve. 99. I was 7 then.
It's Inter Milan.
Oh, right. No, why was it not Juve? Who was Juve then? I remember Roy Keane having a boss game.
Yeah, it might have been the next round. The semis.
Yeah, semi was Juve. Did you say quarters? That's not fair, man. No one knows about quarterfinals, man. No one watches them.
Okay, between 2008 and 2012 or 11-12 season, he averaged 1 hat-trick per season as a Manchester United player, but 3 of his 4 hat-tricks were scored in one season. Who was this player?
2011.
Between 2008-9 season and 2011-12 season. So for the 3, I think it was 3 or 4 years he was with you guys.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I wanted to say Dimitar Berbatov because he was a bit of a baller. I'll be honest.
There you go. You got it.
Yes. Before you question.
Yeah, before you talk yourself out of it, I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, in the 2009-2010 Premier League season, Manchester United finished second on the league table. Who finished first?
Oh, why would you bring this question on? I was already, bro.
It's a painful memory.
You know them ones that wear blue and that, like like the sky blue. I don't even know what the name is called. Like they used to, like they're not a big team, so I don't remember the name, but I just remember they wear blue and there's a guy called Aguero. Whatever that team.
Oh no. You're wrong.
Chelsea.
It's Chelsea. It's the other blue team.
Yeah, it's Chelsea. No, 11, 12, 13 was the Aguero moment. But
yeah, when he got that last minute goal. Okay, which United player retired with a total of 129 caps?
129 caps for country or for United?
For country.
129.
Yeah.
I want to say either
he's
Beckham
from where?
Or
go on.
I was going to say Beckham or Scholes. What was the clue you're going to give? He's from where?
He's from where Winston is at the moment.
Winston, where you at?
I'm in Denmark.
Oh, you're in Denmark. That's got to be Schmeichel then, all day, every day.
There you go. There you go.
Love
Bit of
that.
a helping
Shout out
hand.
to Denmark as well. I went to Giacomo. Was it Giacomo? No, sorry, Jack and Jones. Apologies. In Denmark. So that's
recently,
it.
or yeah.
No, that was last season before COVID happened. But yeah, I've been there a few times. Beautiful country. So shout out to you. Yeah, we'll go the big Dane, Schmeichel, Big Pete.
That's it. That's it. Okay, last question. You've got 2 right so far.
Okay.
Out of 6 questions that have been asked, well, 5 questions have been asked. Is your last one. Sir Alex Ferguson's first club signing was Viv Anderson. Which club was he bought from? Viv Anderson.
Oh wow, cheese and crackers, man! Like I feel like I should have been born in the '80s for this because ultimately I won't remember these signings. You know what?
Okay.
Can I have a league? Is there a league that
he was the first black player to play for England, so it's quite a big deal.
Big Anderson. Now my first remembrance of a black player was Paul Ince because I idolised myself on him. That's when I was kind of understanding of black players. So with Big Vivi Anderson, I apologise, but I'm gonna have to go Notts Forest.
No. It was a well, at the time they were probably quite big, but it was a bigger club than that.
Leeds.
No, it's Arsenal.
Okay, I'm struggling.
Comes from
Oh,
Arsenal.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? That's genuinely one fact I actually never knew. So I appreciate you telling me that because that would never have got that.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Viv Anderson. And sorry for you United fans. I thought like he was going to come out with trophies and or them kind of stats. You know how many step overs did Ronaldo do in the first season and all them ones, but it never happened.
Yeah, so that's great. Well, big thank you for that. That was incredible story. I wasn't expecting that much detail on that kind of journey. It was incredibly powerful, and I hope it inspires a lot of people that are going through similar things to still stay on the track and still stay in the positive side of life and continue their journey forward and find the things that keep them happy, like you have done.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
but if you're going through some kind of depression or something, or any of those kind of feelings, just make sure you speak to someone. Make sure you get some help.
Yeah, the one thing that's really shining through from what you've said is the importance of community, the importance of people being around you to give you that support, to make you
100%.
to remind you that you are loved and you are worthy and you are capable of doing things. And this is so important to put yourself in that environment, and don't let anyone say any other way about you. You are worthy, you can do stuff, and there are people out there to love you.
Incredible. Yeah. And I can only say that and ditto that. So just thank you guys for the opportunity for one to have this conversation, but at the same time to be able to put out my views and opinions out there on my own life story, and in the hope that you see some facts within it that you can apply to your own life. And speak out, definitely speak out. It's as you said, you didn't really know me too well on this side of my life. You knew me as the other person. There's so many people out there that are just like that, just like me, happy-go-lucky. You don't really think anything's ever going to bother them. They always see the bright side, and deep down things can be happening. So definitely look out for those. Make sure you ask the happiest people if they're genuinely okay. Yeah, that's so important.
Very much so. Is there any shout outs in terms of the people that you're working with? Just want to give out any of the social links, your links? Obviously I'll get them and put them in the comment section below, so people can find out who you are and who you're working for and all the causes that are important to you. If you want to give it a good shout out.
I respect that. Thank you so much for the platform to do it. But yeah, 100%. You can find me on Instagram at n.n.fox. So it's n.n.fox. Facebook is just Najee Fox. However, I very rarely use Facebook, but it's there for you. Twitter, I did deactivate, so we don't go there. But Instagram is my main one, so you can catch me there. And I would honestly 100% like to shout out so many people on an individual basis, but in terms of organisations that are close to me right now and organisations we've spoken about, Sporting Minds and Bupa for helping me for the next part of my journey in terms of getting my mental health into a positive light. My club, Birchford Harriers, who have supported me mega. My agencies, Bridge Models and Curve Models, for the obvious opportunities, and obviously all my friends and family that listen, and the acquaintances that are positive that I've managed to enter my circle. You know, I just want to say thank you to you guys, and you are loved and appreciated by myself. So thank you.
Okay,
And
thank
of
you.
course to you guys, man. I gotta shout you guys out as well, man.
Great having you. Great having you on the show.
You've been a great guest.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you very much. That's the big four, and it's been a great journey, and I hope to see you soon. Okay, take care.
Definitely, bro. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Okay, take care.